Yeah, so I'm actually allergic to unprocessed tobacco. So stuff like this, I can't mess around with too much because it'll just get my allergies going. But when I first started here, the first job for me was to grab giant sheets of tobacco and chop them in a tiny, tiny room, because the original Tangiers was in a really tiny room. It was a really small area. And then I would take this tobacco and then I would chop it, not knowing that I was allergic, and I would just go into sneezing fits. My eyes would start watering. So yeah, it was.
And you figured it out, so I'm allergic to from tobacco.
Yeah, so instead of, most people would just stop working with tobacco, I just put on a mask.
And it works?
Kind of.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But now, even now, they will sift the tobacco, and then sometimes we would grind it if it's too big. Throughout the whole process, we're always just picking at the tobacco, taking stems out, making sure tobacco looks good, which is what I started out doing. That's where most people start out. It's, it helps you learn a lot more about tobacco, and you know a lot more about it. Just, getting your hands in there and just,
yes, for sure.
Learning from it. But yeah, definitely, I can't mess with this too much or else we won't be able to film anymore.
Pessoal, então não dá pra gente ficar muito tempo aqui, né? Senão a gente vai prejudicar o Fong aqui, não é a nossa ideia, né? É trazer informações para vocês o mais rápido possível e com mais qualidade possível. Então, vamos deixar o tabaco ali para não atacar a alergia dele. Então, depois que a gente teve todo esse monte de informação, a gente veio aqui a produção para poder ver na prática todos os tabacos, né? Todas as linhas diferentes. Então, aqui nesse pote aqui, a gente tem Birku, tá? Com um level menor de nicotina, eu coloquei aqui em ordem. Aqui a gente tem Noir, aqui a gente tem Burley. Você pode ver uma leve diferença na coloração entre elas, mas é muito difícil. E aqui a gente vai ver a Burley, porém F-Line, que é a Burley mais cafeína, certo? Então vocês podem ver que ela é um pouco mais escura. So Fong, what do you want to say from here, from the process, to explain more about the people in general, should they see the difference between or whatever you want?
Yeah, so when we got close up into the tobacco, you notice that for us, there's not a lot of stems in it. Throughout the whole process, we're constantly removing stems, and it's to a point where it's almost automatic now, where most people start out cooking and then they move on to other departments. But the reason why they start in cooking is because you get used to just taking stuff out. You start picking up stems whenever you see it, and you just take it out. And
stems is like that, right?
These little stems, yeah. Well, it used to be a lot bigger with these newer lines, and especially like whoever did, yeah. Throughout the whole process, we get used to, just start picking it out, because that's what you're doing from the very beginning. From when you're chopping the tobacco or grinding it or even shifting it, you're picking stems out, because you can't take them all out, and we just take whatever we can out.
Yes, but why, what reason you start to do that?
Well, it's because the stems doesn't hold, there's not...
They don't hold flavoring, they don't hold everything, they probably burn more easy or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
so like when you look at the tobacco, you can see that the stems will stick out because it doesn't, the juice doesn't stick to it. So we take them out. But it's not just, from the beginning. We do it while we're cooking, while we're prepping the pots. Once it goes into flavoring, we start, even flavors, because most of them started here in cooking, they'll go over there, they'll flavor the tobacco, and then they'll take the stems out just because it's force of habit now. Even the packagers, when they start packaging the tobacco and they see well, this has a lot of stems, and they send it back. It's a muscle memory for everybody now. Everybody in the company, Tess will come back here and she'll walk around, she'll look, and she's like, oh, there's stems. And then she starts taking them out.
It's big part of the culture is, when the people see, oh, just take this.
Yeah, and then we just start pulling out stems. It's just something that now literally everybody in this company is just used to. We just walk around and then we see it and we take it out. It's just normal. It's very, very normal now. It was very purposeful that we did that. But that's why a lot of people will start out in cooking, so that they get used to picking out stems, making sure they know what the tobacco should look like. When I'm packing a bowl, I could see it was undercooked, overcooked. If somebody put too much flavoring, too much glycerin, too much this, too much that. Just by looking at it, yes. And everybody in the company could do that. And that's why we check constantly. We always check each other's work, back and forth, to make sure that it's the highest quality that we possibly get.
É isso aí, gente. Vocês viram como que é o processo, né? E quão detalhista é todo esse lance aqui dentro da Tangiers.
A lot of people will say, you know, it's not as strong as it used to be, or